guys, welcome back to my channel, The I Factor. If you're new to my channel and joining me for the first time, it's really nice to have you around. And for those that are coming back, hey, welcome back. So the aim behind this video is to share with you 8 things that I've been doing for the last couple of years and I've seen great benefits in terms of health and also in terms of my well-being. So if you want to find out these simple hacks that you can start incorporating into your lives, just continue watching this video. Okay guys, so the first thing that I'm always doing is at least 3 times, if not 4 times in a week, is to make tossed vegetables. So tossed vegetables, my tossed vegetables include cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts if they're in season. I also add carrots, beetroots, bell peppers, and a couple of other vegetables depending on the season. So I try not to buy anything that is imported, and something that is grown locally, especially at a farmer's market, is something that I target. But I believe that the local stores like Coop and Migros in Switzerland have really good quality vegetables, and I'm really happy that I have access to these. So the way I make my tossed vegetables is as simple as this. I take a skillet, I add 2 or 3 teaspoons of ghee or coconut oil, and then I add in a little bit of cumin seeds, and then I just put in these vegetables. I add in a little bit of water to give it some bit of steam, and then when they become a little soft, I just switch it off, and there I have my tossed vegetables. So the best thing about tossed vegetables is that they are so nutritious. They're really high in antioxidants and phytonutrients that I really like it that I'm incorporating a lot of healthy stuff into my diet. And this is something that I make almost every week, and my fridge never runs empty of tossed vegetables. Okay, the second thing that I'm always doing is time to time, if not every day, I'm making a batch of sprouts. So sprouts are so healthy, super nutritious, because these little plants are full of nutrients, and you can just sprinkle these sprouts onto salads, or even just saute them in a little bit of oil, and there you have a very nutritious food for yourself. So the things that I'm sprouting almost every week or every alternate week is Brussels sprouts, and I also use broccoli seeds, which are super high in phytonutrients. And I also use spinach seeds and a little bit of green gram. These are also very easy to sprout. I'm in fact going to make a video on how I'm doing my sprouting so you get a better idea. But for those that already know how to sprout and do it time to time, I'd encourage you guys to do it on a regular basis, because you are going to get so many nutrients from these little shoots that you're going to be very happy in the long run. So this is the second thing that I'm always doing, which I'm very happy has upped my health game. Okay, the third thing that I'm doing right now for the last 1 year is I've started to make my own yogurt. Yogurt is freely available everywhere in stores you go, in a lot of flavors, which I would never buy because I don't like flavored stuff. They put not real fruit flavors, they just put in artificial flavors and a lot of sugar. They taste delicious, but they are not healthy for me, and I would never use them. And also the plain yogurt in stores is actually pasteurized. So basically they've killed all the good bacteria that are good and helpful for your gut and your overall health. So there's not really much you're getting out of these bacteria, or these yogurts rather. So what I've started to do is, after doing a lot of research, I've understood that Lactobacillus bulgaricus is a bacteria that is very good for your gut and your liver and your overall health. So I order it on Amazon, and then when it comes, it's really a small pack, and there's not much of this bacterias in there. But then even half a teaspoon is enough to make a big bowl of yogurt, and then you can keep it for a couple of days before you reuse the last spoon of yogurt to make another fresh bowl of yogurt. So I'm going to make a video on how I make my yogurt so you get an idea. But up here I'm going to link the image and the place where I buy this particular particular yogurt, so you have the opportunity to buy your own yogurt. So that is something that I've started to do, and I think it's really helped my gut health. And the fourth thing that I've started to do is I incorporate a lot of greens into my daily diet, especially kale, spinach, and celery. But spinach is something that seems to be available all year round here in Switzerland. So this is something that I'm all the time having in my food. What I do with spinach is that there is a big bag of spinach that I buy, and then I just like steam it for a few minutes, and then it just loses all its volume and just becomes a tiny lump of spinach, which I then like saute in oil with a little bit of garlic, ginger paste, and then I just remove a little bit of the water because it's not really good, and then I just keep this spinach in a little box in the fridge, and every time I'm eating my fish or I'm having my tossed vegetables, I just put in a little bit of spinach on the side, and then I have my greens. So green leafy vegetables in general are so nutritious that this is something, it's a no-brainer, and that everyone should have in their diets. This is something that I've learned the hard way. I mean, who wants to eat greens, right? I mean, you want to eat something nice and pink and orange, which is usually nice ice creams and stuff. But then I've become wiser and smarter to understand that if I invest in my health and well-being right now, I'm just going to reap the benefits of it in the near future. So greens are something that I always consume. And there is something that I also do that really helps me a lot is I cut in half an avocado, I pour in a little bit of almond milk, and then I just put in a little bit of fresh spinach leaves, and also sometimes if I have broccoli sprouts, I just put in those sprouts. And I put in a little bit of xylitol or erythritol just to sweeten this whole mixture up. I blend it and then I just drink it. So this is something maybe I'm not doing every single day because I'm eating spinach almost every single day, but almost every other alternate day I try to take in a few green smoothies so that I know that I'm living a healthy life, and I really enjoy doing this. Okay, the fifth thing, one of my favorite things. This is called intermittent fasting, and I already made a video on this. I'm going to link it somewhere on top for you to have a proper knowledge of what I'm talking about over there. But to sum it up, intermittent fasting is giving your body rest by not eating for quite a period of time, and giving yourself only a window of eating during which you're going to eat nutritious food. So the thing with me is that I wake up in the morning, but I don't have anything until noon or even 1 o'clock if I can push it. And that's the time I'm just going to have a nice big meal. Maybe I have some omelets with some spinach and sprouts, or I just have a bit of avocado with lots of good fats like coconut oil, or basically I'm going to eat only 2 times in a day, that is at noon or and at around 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the evening. That's going to be my last meal. After that, I just try not to snack or open the fridge to just take a nibble of something. So this has helped me greatly, because what happens when you do intermittent fasting is that your body is really resting. All your digestive system and your liver, everything in the body has a chance to rest and recuperate from what you've been giving it all day long. So this pattern of eating and not eating has really started to get popular. I see a lot of people talking about it, and having been doing it for the last 3 years or 2.5 years, I can vouch for the fact that there is solid science behind intermittent fasting, and that if you try it, you're just going to benefit out of it. Number 6 is this. In one of my videos, I talked about trying to use natural ingredients wherever and whenever possible. And this is something that I'm trying to do for a lot of things, although it's so difficult to find natural alternatives. But for a few things, I know it is super easy if you just put in a little bit of effort. And the one thing that I've started to do is I use shampoos for sure. But the fact is that for hair conditioning and hair nourishment, I try to use a mixture of just 2 oils, which is super good for hair. And we Indians have been doing this for so many years, and we think that we are doing a pretty good job at it. And those 2 oils are castor oil and coconut oil. So castor oil is really very thick and viscous, and I would really tell you not to use castor oil directly on your hair. Otherwise, it's just probably going to take you a couple of bottles of shampoo to get rid of it. But if you add it into your coconut oil half and half, then I think it's really good, because they're both very nourishing for the hair. They kind of like give you protection even when you're not having them on. So what I do is I just warm up these 2 oils, half and half, 50 and 50%. and then when they're warm enough, I just put them onto my scalp. I just rub the oil onto my scalp, deep into my scalp, and then I wrap my hair in a t-shirt which is like steamed and warm, so that my head gets a nice warm oil treatment along with some moisture from the t-shirt going in. So this is something I do once in a week, and I'm really happy to see the benefits, because my hair used to be a lot more thicker when I was younger, but then as I'm growing older, it's really hard to kind of maintain the same kind of hair you had when you were maybe 20 years old. So I've seen that coconut oil and castor oil have really benefited me, and they benefited me when I was young, and they benefit me even now, that I just don't try to look for some potions and pills and ingredients in certain shampoos that I think are going to miraculously like enter my scalp and then give me this bouncy hair like they show on television commercials. I'm just beyond all that. I'm super happy with natural remedies, and I think castor oil and coconut oil work really, really well. So let's talk about number 7. So number 7 is this. I always drink water, but I don't make it a point to drink 8 to 10 glasses of water. That is because of 2 reasons. When we drink plain water, we're not really getting any minerals or any good elements into our system. That's because water today is not the same as it used to be maybe 50 or 60 years ago. There's a lot of chlorine added into the water. There are a lot of fluorides, and they're not really good for the system. But today's purification systems have become so that everybody is afraid of germs and diseases, that there's overprocessing of a lot of things. So which is why vegetables go low on the list of people's to eat items, and then the easy biscuits, donuts, cakes and waffles and stuff like that. The overprocessed things are predominant everywhere, and people just don't mind eating them. But then when you eat a lot of butter or ghee, then they think that you're leading an unhealthy life. That's become the state of the system. So coming back to water, it's like this. Because we're not getting nutrients from the water, which is really overprocessed, what I do is, instead of just having only water, I just put in a little bit of pink Himalayan sea salt, which gives me additional minerals, and I put in also chia seeds time to time, which gives me nutrients, really power-packed sources. And also sometimes I put fenugreek seeds, which is really something that I've discovered myself. Fenugreek seeds are really bitter, and they're not really tasty at all, but I've kind of started to develop a taste for the bitter, and I don't mind having fenugreek seeds in my water at all. The only downside to having fenugreek seeds in your water is that your water turns yellow. So I'll just leave it at that. But I'm the sort of person who thinks like I don't need to impress anyone, or just explain to someone what is there in my water, because it's my health, and I think I have to take control of my health and no one else. Okay, number 8. This is super important, and please keep your ears open, because it's got something to do with sweet stuff. So I have a super sweet teeth. Actually, all of my teeth are super sweet. No, they have an affinity for sweet stuff. So the thing is, because I love sweet stuff, and since I endorse this low carb eating lifestyle, I have stopped putting sugar into my cooking and baking activities. So I use xylitol or erythritol instead. But then I'm human, and then sometimes when I'm out with a friend and then she says, hey, come on, let's have something, let's celebrate something, I'm like, it's okay, I'm human, and I don't want to like just be so restrictive, because I don't want the other person to feel that, they're having something unhealthy and I'm having super healthy stuff. So that's okay. But when I have the chance to do this, I'm always trying to use the best alternatives to sugar, that is xylitol, erythritol, or I'm also using coconut flour and almond flour instead of refined flour. Refined flour is super horrible. It's not awesome. And almond flour and coconut flours are very good alternatives to this kind of crazy refined flour. So the texture of the desserts, mind you, may not be exactly the same, or the taste of xylitol is also not the same as refined sugar. But then please understand that because these alternatives are not going to harm your system, and in fact they're going to give you a little bit of benefit. Like almonds are very, very nutritious. So if you have almond flour, you're obviously going to get some nutrition or the other from it, right? And the same goes with coconut flour. So I've started to use these alternatives. And in fact, I've started to make my own brownies of late, which are so delicious that we are just gobbling them up, but then only during the time that we are eating, or I am eating, which is during the intermittent fasting time period where it's time for me to eat. So I'll make a video on the brownies that I make so that you can make your own. But then what I'm trying to tell you is that look for alternatives to refined flour and refined sugar, and you will be super grateful that you have done it in the long term. The thing with us people, I feel, including me, is that when we don't see the ill effects of something right away, we're like, it's okay, you know, I mean, I'll just lead a healthy lifestyle when I touch 60 or 70 or 80. But then it's another kind of happiness and another kind of a positive challenge when you take it up and say, no, my health, I'm going to take it into my hands right now, starting this minute, this second. And that's what I've done, and it has given me great benefits, and I also feel very happy in general. So these are my things, guys, and I really hope that you are inspired to do at least 3 or 4 of the things that I have read out to you. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, I'd encourage you to click on my subscribe button down here, and also up here is a link to a couple of my other videos. I'm very happy that you watched my video. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.